Tiki your ears off? I thought you might be. Thanks for joining me here in the lagoon because I've got a nifty album to talk about this time out. Caves of the Sea, the first new Waitiki 7 album in a decade. Sort of. They've also simultaneously released a live album, Enchantment Under the Kiawe, the Waitiki 7 live at House Without a Key. I'm not talking about that one today, but hopefully we'll get to it in a future episode. But seriously, no new music since 2014? And then boom! 2 new albums at the same time? Pace yourselves, guys! Before I get into the music, let me back up just a little bit and give you some background on this group. Waitiki was founded in 2003 in Boston by Hawaiian musicians Abe Lagrimas Jr. and Randy Wong as a quartet. Their music was inspired by the lounge revival of the 1990s, but focused more on exotica, as pioneered by Les Baxter, Martin Denny, and Arthur Lyman, making Waitiki one of the first and earliest neo-exotica groups to emerge during the early days of the Tiki Renaissance. Sometime around 2008-2009, the group relocated, at least partially from what I can tell, to Honolulu and expanded the lineup to become the Waitiki 7, which brings us up to their current releases. What sets the Waitiki 7 apart from other groups, however, is the musicianship. The band is composed of conservatory-trained musicians, including Grammy winners and symphony performers, which has a distinctive influence on the music. They are classically trained musicians who are seriously into jazz, and they lean heavily into the mainstream jazz element on pretty much every album they've recorded. The arrangements are complex and ambitious, more so than pretty much any other modern exotica group. Now, I'm not trying to get into X is better than Y arguments here. I'm just trying to set the expectations and put a finger on the Waitiki 7 distinctive identity. Les Baxter initially developed exotica as a subset of jazz, and I think no other group has so thoroughly integrated mainstream jazz elements into the escapism of exotica than the Waitiki 7. I want to begin with the one piece of music that's wholly new to the band, Tropicondo. Let's take a listen. Okay, there's a lot packed into that first 30 seconds. I love the sly, energetic groove and the bird calls. It's a great throwback to the early exotica albums of Arthur Lyman. I'm telling you though, that this arrangement is only getting started. They layer on more elements as the song progresses, more instrumentation, more percussion, more bird calls. Whoever arranged this piece clearly understood the assignment. Next up is Cave of Aldo, off Waitiki's 2005 debut album, Charred Mammal Flesh. This version features guest artist the Galliard String Quartet. Let's listen. I have to say, Cave of Aldo has always been one of my favorite Waitiki songs, and this version certainly compares favorably with the original. The addition of strings brings an added Les Baxter element to this version that wasn't present in the original, but it works very well here. I've always felt Baxter leaned too heavily on strings, giving his recordings a syrupy, almost saccharine quality at times. But Waitiki shows that used judiciously, those strings can elevate the entire sound. I also want to point out that Cave of Aldo is an original composition by the group. Considering the fact that this was on their first album, it's clear they weren't playing it safe. This is an ambitious track, and Waitiki was swinging for the fences early on. What's more impressive is that it holds up 20 years later. Amazing talent. We need more of this. Finally, let's give a listen to Waitiki 7's new version of the exotica standard, Quiet Village. Okay, first off, this is a very different interpretation of the song from their previous effort. The live recording of Quiet Village from Waitiki and Hi-Fi is dark and moody, almost ponderous, which is cool. Reinterpretation is the lifeblood of standards after all, but this one is so wildly different. It's bright and sprightly, using the strings to good effect and leaning aggressively into Waitiki's jazz roots. How heavily are they leaning? There's a freaking Vince Guaraldi piano solo 2 minutes into the song. You heard it, right? Who does that? Oh my gosh, this is such a fun track, and it highlights the one thing about Waitiki 7 that I haven't mentioned thus far. They have a relentless sense of humor. The group takes its musicianship very seriously, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. I mean, their earlier albums have tracks that are downright silly on them. It's nice to have that playfulness come through. I do want to quickly mention the opening track of the album, although I'm not going to play a sample here. Cave of the Tarpon, Brother Cleave's session. For those not familiar with him, Brother Cleave was a Boston area musician and producer who was also a cocktail and tiki aficionado. He's most famous for his work with the neo-lounge group Combustible Edison, but he collaborated with Waitiki on almost all of their previous recordings, if I'm not mistaken. Brother Cleave died unexpectedly in 2022, and I suspect his passing is a big reason why we had to wait till 2025 for the release of Caves of the Sea. I'm guessing this new version was Brother Cleave's final collaboration with Waitiki, and it stands as a nice memorial. So, what are my complaints? Because you know I'm gonna have some. Okay, the first is obvious. 11 years between releases is too damn long. I know life happens and there was that whole COVID thing going on, but I reserve the right to be selfish. I want more. And speaking of more, again, we have an album with only 6 tracks clocking in at roughly 24 minutes. They're a very good 24 minutes, mind you, but considering the fact that Waitiki's earlier albums are averaged a dozen tracks each, one can't help but be a little disappointed at the skimpiness of the offerings. My other criticism is that with the exception of Tropicondo, Waitiki 7 has previously released versions of each of these songs. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't a repackaged best of compilation, okay? These are all original recordings. But each of these songs is lavishly re-recorded, and I totally get why they'd want to revisit Cave of the Tarpon and Cave of Aldo. Those are 2 early compositions recorded before the group expanded to 7 members. And recording with the Galliard String Quartet adds a nice, subtle degree of sophistication on Cave of Aldo, as well as Tropicondo and Quiet Village. But who am I to be satisfied with that? These musicians have proven themselves gifted songwriters, and it's a shame they do not include any originals on this album. This Original material could have elevated Caves of the Sea from merely very good to outstanding. Still, if I haven't made my feelings clear, this is an excellent album to have, and one that will sound like nothing else in your exotica collection. Unless, of course, you already have other Waitiki 7 albums, in which case it will fit in seamlessly. I've included the Bandcamp link down below. If you're able, please consider purchasing this or one of their other albums. When you support independent musicians, you encourage and enable them to continue making great music for us to enjoy in the future. So, until we meet again, keep tikiing your ears off.